Caste-based reservations in India are a contentious topic. They are a form of affirmative action. The system reserves seats for historically disadvantaged groups. These groups include scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes. The reservations apply to government jobs, educational institutions, and political positions. The policy aims to address centuries of discrimination and inequality. It seeks to provide equal opportunities to marginalized communities. However, it has been a subject of heated debate since its inception. Supporters argue that it is necessary for social justice. Critics claim it undermines merit and perpetuates caste divisions. The reservation system is complex and often misunderstood. It covers various aspects of public life. In education, it ensures seats for underprivileged students in colleges and universities. In employment, it guarantees a percentage of government jobs for these groups. In politics, it reserves constituencies for SC and ST candidates in elections. The controversy surrounding reservations stems from multiple factors. There are concerns about efficiency and meritocracy. Some argue that it leads to reverse discrimination. Others believe it has not benefited the truly needy within these communities. Understanding the nuances of this policy is crucial for any meaningful discussion on India's social fabric. The roots of India's reservation policy can be traced back to the colonial era. British administrators introduced quotas for minority communities in the early 20th century. However, the modern reservation system took shape after India's independence in 1947. It was enshrined in the Indian Constitution under the leadership of Dr. Ambedkar. A significant milestone in the history of reservations was the Pune Pact of 1932. This agreement between Dr. Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi laid the groundwork for SC reservations. It rejected the idea of separate electorates for depressed classes. Instead, it proposed reserved seats within the general electorate. This compromise shaped the future of India's affirmative action policies. The Mandal Commission, established in 1979, marked another crucial turning point. It recommended 27% reservation for OBCs in government jobs and educational institutions. The implementation of these recommendations in 1990 led to widespread protests. It also resulted in a significant expansion of the reservation system. Over the years, the scope of reservations has evolved. The original 22.5% for SCs and STs has expanded to include OBCs and, more recently, economically weaker sections. The Supreme Court has played a crucial role in shaping reservation policies. It has set guidelines and limits, including the 50% cap on total reservations in most cases. Understanding the demographic landscape is crucial to grasp the reservation debate. According to the 2011 census, SCs constitute 16.6% of India's population. STs make up 8.6%, while OBCs are estimated to be around 41%. These figures highlight the significant proportion of the population covered by reservation policies. However, representation in various sectors often does not reflect these population percentages. In government jobs, for instance, the representation has improved but still lags. As of 2020, SCs held about 14% of Group A central government jobs. STs held 5.6% and OBCs 16.5%. These figures show progress but also indicate ongoing disparities. In higher education, the picture is mixed. The gross enrollment ratio for SCs in higher education was 23.4% in 2018-19. For STs, it was 17.2%. These figures have improved over the years but remain below the national average of 26.3%. In elite institutions like IITs and IIMs, the representation of these groups is often even lower. Political representation presents another dimension. In the 17th Lok Sabha, 84 seats, or 15.5%, are reserved for SCs and 47, or 8.6%, for STs. This aligns closely with their population percentages. However, representation in state legislatures and local bodies varies widely across regions. These statistics provide a factual basis for discussions on the effectiveness and necessity of reservations. The fundamental rationale for reservations lies in addressing deep-rooted societal inequalities. Centuries of discrimination have created systemic barriers for certain communities. These barriers are not just economic, but social and cultural as well. Reservations aim to level the playing field and provide equal opportunities. Consider a typical rural family from a scheduled caste background. Their ancestors were likely denied education and confined to menial jobs. This historical disadvantage translates into present-day challenges. The family might lack the social connections and cultural capital that upper caste families possess. Their children may not have access to quality education or career guidance. Reservations provide a pathway to overcome these inherited disadvantages. The impact of caste discrimination extends beyond individual families. Entire communities have been systematically excluded from positions of power and influence. This exclusion perpetuates stereotypes and limits role models for younger generations. Reservations in politics and government jobs aim to address this representation gap. They ensure that diverse voices are heard in decision-making processes. Critics often argue that economic criteria should replace caste-based reservations. However, this overlooks the unique nature of caste discrimination. Unlike pure economic disadvantage, caste identity cannot be shed through financial improvement. A wealthy Dalit may still face social ostracism and discrimination. Reservations, therefore, serve as a tool for social empowerment, not just economic upliftment. Section 5. Caste-based versus economic-based reservations. A comparative analysis. The debate between caste-based and economic-based reservations is ongoing. Caste-based reservations target specific communities identified as historically disadvantaged. Economic-based reservations, on the other hand, focus on individuals below a certain income threshold. Each approach has its merits and challenges. Caste-based reservations address the root cause of social discrimination. They recognize that caste identity impacts opportunities regardless of economic status. This system has been effective in increasing representation in various fields. It has created a visible Dalit middle class and produced leaders from marginalized communities. However, critics argue that it perpetuates caste divisions and benefits only the creamy layer within these groups. Economic-based reservations, introduced recently for the economically weaker sections, aim to address poverty across castes. Proponents argue that this is a more equitable approach in modern India. It can benefit poor individuals from upper castes who don't qualify for caste-based reservations. However, this approach has its own set of challenges. Determining economic criteria is complex and prone to manipulation. It also doesn't address the social stigma and discrimination faced by lower castes. A comparison of outcomes reveals interesting insights. Caste-based reservations have been more successful in creating a diverse workforce and student body. Economic reservations are too new to evaluate long-term impact. The challenge lies in balancing both approaches to address different forms of disadvantage in society. Section 6. The political landscape of reservations in India. Reservations in India are deeply intertwined with politics. Political parties often use reservation policies to garner support from specific communities. This has led to both expansion and manipulation of the reservation system over the years. Understanding this political dimension is crucial to grasp the complexities of the issue. The implementation of the Mandal Commission recommendations in 1990 was a watershed moment. It led to widespread protests and political upheaval. The decision by the VP Singh government was seen as a political move to consolidate OBC support. Since then, various parties have championed the cause of different groups seeking reservation status. This has sometimes led to a reservation race, with communities demanding inclusion in SC, ST, or OBC categories. Regional politics adds another layer of complexity. States have their own reservation policies, often exceeding the 50% cap set by the Supreme Court. Tamil Nadu, for instance, has 69% reservation. Maharashtra has introduced reservations for Marathas. These state-specific policies often reflect local political dynamics and caste equations. The introduction of EWS reservations in 2019 marked a significant shift. It was seen as an attempt by the BJP government to appeal to upper caste voters. This move has been challenged in the Supreme Court, highlighting the legal battles that often accompany reservation policies. The political narrative around reservations continues to evolve, reflecting changing social dynamics and electoral calculations. Section 7. Debunking myths. Common arguments against reservations. Reservations often face criticism based on several common arguments. It's important to examine these critically and provide counter-arguments based on facts and logic. One frequent claim is that reservations compromise merit. Critics argue that less qualified candidates get selected over more deserving ones. This argument overlooks the purpose of reservations: to provide equal opportunities, not equal outcomes. Merit is not just about exam scores, but also about overcoming societal barriers. A Dalit student scoring 80% despite facing discrimination and lack of resources may show more merit than an upper caste student scoring 85% with all privileges. Moreover, studies have shown that reserved category students often perform on par with general category students once given the opportunity. Another myth is that reservations are no longer needed as India has progressed. This ignores the persistent reality of caste discrimination. Recent studies show that caste-based discrimination continues in urban areas and elite institutions. Job applications with Dalit names receive fewer callbacks compared to upper caste names with identical qualifications. These realities underscore the ongoing need for affirmative action. Critics also argue that reservations benefit only the creamy layer. While there is some truth to this, it overlooks the broader impact. The visible success of some beneficiaries serves as inspiration for entire communities. It changes societal perceptions and creates role models. Moreover, creamy layer restrictions in OBC reservations address this concern to some extent. The focus should be on improving implementation rather than discarding the policy altogether. Section 8. Real-life impact, success stories and ongoing challenges. The impact of reservations is best understood through real-life examples. Numerous success stories highlight how reservations have changed lives and communities. Take the case of P.S. Krishnan, who rose from a poor Dalit family to become a senior IAS officer. He used his position to implement policies benefiting marginalized communities. Such stories are not isolated incidents, but represent broader trends of social mobility. In education, reservations have increased diversity in premier institutions. The IITs, once dominated by upper castes, now have a more diverse student body. This diversity enriches the learning experience for all students. It also creates a pipeline of talent from marginalized communities for leadership roles in various sectors. However, challenges remain in terms of retention and support for these students. The corporate sector presents a mixed picture. While reservations don't apply directly to private companies, their impact is visible. Many reserved category individuals who benefited from education quotas have excelled in corporate roles. However, representation at top management levels remains low. This highlights the need for continued efforts to break the glass ceiling. Ongoing challenges include the quality of primary education in rural areas. Many potential beneficiaries of reservations are unable to compete due to poor schooling. There's also the issue of subcastes within reserved categories not benefiting equally. Some argue for more nuanced policies to address these disparities. These real-life scenarios illustrate both the achievements and the work that remains in the reservation system. Section 9. The Way Forward. Balancing merit and social justice. As India evolves, so must its approach to reservations. The challenge lies in balancing the need for social justice with concerns about merit and efficiency. One potential way forward is to focus on improving the quality of primary and secondary education. This would help level the playing field earlier, reducing the need for reservations at higher levels. Another approach is to introduce more nuanced criteria within the reservation system. This could involve considering factors like family income, parental education, and rural or urban background. Such a system could ensure that the benefits reach the most disadvantaged within each category. It could also address concerns about the creamy layer monopolizing benefits. Technology can play a role in improving the implementation of reservations. Transparent online systems for admissions and job applications can reduce manipulation. Data analytics can help track the impact of reservations more accurately. This can inform evidence-based policy decisions and adjustments. There's also a need to address the root causes of caste discrimination. Reservations alone cannot solve deep-seated social issues. Education and awareness campaigns are crucial. Encouraging intercaste interactions and marriages can help break down barriers over time. The ultimate goal should be a society where reservations are no longer necessary. Until then, a balanced and evolving approach to affirmative action remains essential. Section 10. Conclusion. Reservations as a tool for equality. In conclusion, caste-based reservations in India remain a necessary tool for achieving social equality. They address historical injustices and provide opportunities to marginalized communities. The policy has shown tangible results in increasing representation across various sectors. However, it is not without challenges and criticisms. The debate around reservations reflects broader tensions in Indian society. It touches on issues of merit, equality, and social justice. While the system has flaws, its fundamental purpose remains relevant. The persistence of caste discrimination in modern India underscores the need for continued affirmative action. Moving forward, the focus should be on refining and improving the reservation system. This includes addressing issues like the creamy layer and uneven benefits within categories. It also involves complementing reservations with broader efforts to improve education and combat discrimination. Ultimately, reservations are a means to an end, not an end in themselves. The goal is a society where every individual has equal opportunities regardless of their birth. Until that ideal is achieved, reservations will continue to play a crucial role in India's journey towards social equality. It is a complex issue that requires nuanced understanding and ongoing dialogue. As India progresses, its approach to reservations must evolve, always keeping the principles of justice and equality at its core.